What's going on, everybody? My name is Derailious. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be going over the Warden helmet as well as a few of the bows introduced in the previous Spider's Den update. These items have the potential to completely change the meta in Hypixel Skyblock, and I'm not just talking about the short term. Some of these items are so powerful that they completely outclass the previous set of gear that we used to use, and it's not even close. But before we get into that, I want to say thank you guys for all the support recently. We have just hit 15k, and in my next video I'll be talking about what I plan to do. There's about 3 things that I have in the works that will be really amazing for you guys, and I want to be able to give back to the community. But for now, make sure you like and subscribe down below if you are new here, follow me on Twitch and Twitter down below, and join my Discord. On that note though, let's get right into the video. In order to begin our discussion, we're going to talk about the Warden helmet, and it's one of the strongest helmets I've ever seen in this game. The base price for it right now is anywhere from 195 to 200 million coins, and the stats that are on it already are really insane. It gives you 300 health, 100 base defense, and the item ability Brute Force, which will cut your speed in half, but grant you 10% base weapon damage for every 25 speed you sacrifice. So essentially, if you have 400 base speed, you will be cut in half to about 200 base speed. That sounds a little bit bad until you realize that you'll have 80% increased base weapon damage, and this applies to things like One For All as well. So if you want to use a giant sword with like 6,000 damage, the Warden helmet is your best bet to do so. As well as this, you can stack it even further. Something like a Black Cat pet will really be useful in this regard, as the Hunter perk will increase your speed and speed cap by 56, meaning that you can get up to 500 total speed, and therefore have the ability to gain 100% increased base damage on every weapon you use. As well, only being cut down to 250 speed isn't really that bad, basically making it one of the best pets in the game automatically, because not only are you getting the increases to speed, magic find, and pet luck that the Black Cat normally provides, you're essentially getting a free 20% increased base damage as well, which is incredibly strong. In order to properly make this item, you need 2 stacks of enchanted iron blocks, 2 revived hearts created by combining a bunch of zombie hearts and a crystallized heart together, and a warden heart, the heart of a powerful creature dropped by the Atoned Horror. This is a 1 in over 10,000 overall drop rate item, meaning that it is a tier above Pray RNGesus. This is the only item of this type in the game, and it is probably the hardest overall item to drop, other than something like a drag pet or a phoenix pet. Overall, we're likely to see the amount of Warden helmets increase with time, but I don't necessarily see the price dropping too much. Next up on our list of things to talk about are the 2 new bows introduced with the Spider's Den update. Clicking on the Dark Queen's Soul Drop, we are able to see the recipes for all 3 of the new bows. However, we won't be discussing the Stinger bow because it's just not good enough to warrant a video at all. Moving on to Venom's Touch, we need to talk about how to craft the base variant first. As you can see, it requires 30 soul string, 120 enchanted red mushrooms, and 10 enchanted spider eyes in order to craft. The base stats are 200 damage and 100 strength, although I do recommend upgrading it immediately. In order to do so, you need 2 stacks of enchanted spider eyes, 2 Dark Queen Soul Drop, and 150 soul string, as well as the base bow for obvious reasons. Next up, we have the Soul's Rebound bow, which requires 10 Dark Queen Soul Drop, 3 stacks of enchanted gas tears, and 3 stacks of soul string. Aside from all these words being a mouthful to say, Soul's Rebound and by extension Venom's Touch are both excellent bows that outclass Runons in their own respective ways. However, keep in mind that you cannot get aiming on either of these bows, so you do have to worry about timing and aiming your shots. So in order to test damage, I am here in the Spider's Den with all 3 main bows, which are reforged and generally enchanted to about the same overall stats. However, you can tell that there is a major difference in the amount of damage and strength of the 2 latter bows compared to Runon's bow. So hitting a mob with Runon's bow, as you can see, I deal about 93,000 damage when all 3 arrows hit, and about 33,000 damage when just 1 arrow hits. This is a relatively high overall amount of damage, and when it comes to the pet I'm using a Baby Yeti, you can tell that I'm not particularly going for damage. Using a Venom's Touch now, I deal about 152,000 damage, which is about a 5 times increase over Runon's bow. That's only when 1 arrow hits, however. When 3 arrows hits, obviously it's about 93k. So when you hit a mob with a Venom's Touch, you deal about 5 times the damage overall when compared to Runon's, which is a major increase. Next up, using Soul's Rebound, I have to hit a mob and combo it out using a Livid Dagger. As you can see, I dealt 1.5 million damage in a singular hit, and that is because of the marking ability of Soul's Rebound. I'll get into what that actually does in a moment. What makes Soul's Rebound such a viable overall weapon for things like Slayers is its perk. The perk essentially means that when you hit a mob with the arrows of Soul's Rebound, it marks the enemy you hit for 5 seconds. These marked enemies do not take damage from you, but once the mark expires, the target will receive a burst of damage equal to all the damage dealt during the mark, increased by up to 20%. Essentially how this works is when you hit a mob, it will be marked for 5 seconds, and you can combo it out as much as you want. When the 5 seconds is up, all the damage you have dealt during that 5 seconds, as well as all the damage anyone else has dealt, will combo together and deal damage to the boss multiplied by up to 1.2 times. This is an incredibly strong overall perk, however sadly, neither this bow or Venom's Touch currently works on dragons. It will just eat your damage and it will not work properly. I've gotten some hits with Venom's Touch to work, dealing about 500k per hit. However, I have not gotten Soul's Rebound to work at all, for quite obvious reasons. It might just be disabled on dragons. Overall, with Venom's Touch only costing 630k, and Soul's Rebound only costing about 3 mil, both of these bows are relatively achievable for the average player. I really recommend getting your hands on both of these items, and for endgame players, I recommend grinding out Rev Tier 5s in order to get your hands on the Warden Helmet. All 3 of these items are meta shifting, and I'm really excited for the future of Skyblock if they want to keep adding items to the game like this. On that note though, once again, thank you guys so much for all the support. I really do appreciate it. Please like and subscribe if you are new here. And on that note, I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out, everybody.